Former Senegalese Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko has now been officially voted as the Speaker of the National Assembly in Senegal.
Monsieur le Président,
He won 132 votes of 133 people that voted, with one absentee vote, and the reason is simply because the person was sick and the person did not go to the parliament. Ousmane Sonko was sacked by Diomaye Faye on Friday, the 22nd of May 2026. Now, what started as a great romance prior to the presidential election ended in a very bitter divorce, which many are asking the question, why did Diomaye Faye listen to some of the distractors who made him to take the unthinkable? Now, as it stands, looking at the Senegalese parliament, all odds are not in favor of Bassirou Diomaye Faye, because Diomaye Faye is the president, but the most powerful institution in Senegal, like in any other nation, it is the country's House of Assembly or National Assembly. Senegal does not have a Senate. Senegal dissolved its Senate because they wanted to reduce cost of governance. As it stands now, only the National Assembly has the overbearing arm to legislate and to decide the policies that the state will carry. If the state carry out the policy from the executive branch, which is not in conformity with the members of parliament, that bill will either not pass or can be vetoed, or the president can be impeached. Now, Diomaye Faye, who was under the flagship of Pastef party, won the election and decided to sack his prime minister. For context, Ousmane Sonko is the chairman of the Pastef party, a party where Diomaye Faye was a candidate and is a member, which means that Ousmane Sonko, when it comes to the party leverage, Ousmane Sonko has a stronger leverage than Bassirou Diomaye Faye. Now, what many people are now seeing is that they are accusing Ousmane Sonko to want to act like he's a president, because they say as a prime minister, he ought to act like a prime minister. This same allegation was brought forward by Abdoulaye Wade, one of Senegalese president, who said that Ousmane Sonko's main problem was he wanted to act as the president and not as the prime minister. That as a prime minister, stay on your lane. But this comes with a challenge, because Bassirou Diomaye Faye does not have the legislative power, because the Pastef party has 133 members in the parliament as of 160 in total in Senegal's parliament, which means that he can either be impeached or his policies may not pass or may not go through. The question is, why sacking Ousmane Sonko? Ousmane Sonko has not become the president of the parliament, the president of the National Assembly. And what does this mean? It means retribution. It means taking back. Ousmane Sonko has on several occasions accused the president, Diomaye Faye, of working against the agenda that they were voted upon. What was this agenda? They too campaigned on a Pan-African agenda, an agenda that seeks to give Senegalese the full control and leverage of their resources, kicking out direct Western influence in their country, especially the French influence in their country. But when Diomaye Faye took over, some of the distractors of Senegal and some of the French lobbies, one of them is Alassane Ouattara. Alassane Ouattara simply told Diomaye Faye that you are the president. It's not Ousmane Sonko. You have the right to decide on your policies, and you have a right to decide where the country will be in the next 5 years. And this pushed Diomaye Faye to move into a first summit with France, with Emmanuel Macron, in which he had this meeting with President Emmanuel Macron in France. And this meeting, he came out smiling and announced more projects and partnership agreements signed between the French government and Senegalese. This action did not sink well in the minds of Senegalese and the minds of Ousmane Sonko, because voters, over 9 million of them, who voted for Sonko, said Sonko lied to them about kicking out France, but instead Sonko's president is selling Senegal to France. Sonko was not happy. Another issue, and the one that struck the camel's back, was the African Way Forward Summit, which took place in Kenya, and that summit was sponsored by the French. It established a framework for the French government to renew its contract and to see how they can have a direct influence on African countries. Bassirou Diomaye Faye was in that meeting, and in fact, he had a strong collaboration with the biggest French lobbyist, which is Alassane Ouattara. And after that meeting, things did not sink well. Just to also note here that Alassane Dramane Ouattara is being protected by the French because he has thwarted the constitution of Senegal. What he fought against Laurent Gbagbo, he is the one that came and did the same thing that he fought against Laurent Gbagbo, which means he did not just seek the second mandate or the third mandate. He's now on his fourth mandate. And that is someone who cannot lecture Senegal on what is democracy or what democracy looks and feel like, because he himself, Senegalese Ivorians were killed in 2020. In December 2020, over 50 of them were killed. And in 2019, protesting against an expansion of his policy and his mandate. So when you look at all this, you can now conclude by saying that Diomaye Faye is on a hot seat right now, because two possibilities: either he will be impeached, or either he dissolved the parliament. But you just dissolved the parliament in 2024. You cannot dissolve the parliament now. And even if you dissolve it, Ousmane Sonko has the popular vote and the people's mandate, which he can easily still win back the seat. And so what options is left is only dialogue and negotiation. But will this work? What are the plans of Ousmane Sonko? Will Ousmane Sonko fire him or impeach him? Because he has now the leverage to call for an impeachment. And on that impeachment, they can impeach him on any grounds. And that impeachment, once a president is impeached in Senegal, is impeached.